I get picked up in Atlanta, take me to Atlanta jail. I go and put me in this modular, and I go in this modular, and there's black people, all the different races, right? Well, over there, they don't politic like we do in California, right? So this is my first understanding of how the system works, right? So I go in there, and the only thing that you can't do in that system is you can't eat at the same table with a different race. Besides that, once you're up from the dinner table, I can trade with any race. I could do whatever, talk to them, chop it up. Like,
but
whatever.
You have to eat with people of your own race only?
Yeah.
Wow.
Only. So then...
and they tell you this? So somebody informs you?
Oh, yeah.
I got informed when I went in.
So when I moved from Atlanta to California politics much different. You can't trade with blacks. You can't trade with others. You can't trade with... So you can only do trade with your race, and then the whites get along with the essays. So what ended up happening is so you have others, which are any other race besides Mexican, white, or black. And this is a car. It's called a car, right? So everybody has a car, their own race. So you have Woods, you have Skinheads, you got Paisas, you got Mexicans, you got Crips, Bloods, and others.
And the Paisas roll with the Mexicans, the Skinheads roll with the Woods.
Yeah. And if something really pops off, some race shit, then Mexicans and the whites will click up against the blacks, or the blacks.
It's always all them against us. It always sucked to be black in them times. I'm telling you, real shit. But we thump though. We thump. So we always knock them out anyway.
So you start trying to figure out this shit.
So you were saying that you're on the fence, off the fence about Grush.
The story I was hearing is it's a lot. I'm going to skip a lot of it, but what I was reading and / what they were saying is that one possibility that could be going on is there is I think we're taking in some of Graham Hancock stuff too. If people were around on Earth 500,000 years ago, in some way, there was some split and a second set of humans continued on, and we're like in this interdimension space where they're both happening simultaneously, and that's where if
he was saying this?
No. This is I'm gathering this all from that video. I'm adding in some of Graham Hancock stuff too, because this kid also interviewed him, Jesse Michaels, on his podcast. Okay. And they're talking about some of the same stuff. But something they said in the Grush interview on his podcast was that an idea would be that these people exist on a split timeline from us. We had cataclysms and died and repopulated and whatnot. Now we've ended in this place in 2023 with combustion engines, and we're flying around. These people would have been in a different anti-gravity. Who knows what they figured out?
And they went somewhere else?
They're not even saying that. This is where they're not going to talk. They haven't talked about that, but I think what they're saying or getting at maybe is that they're here, and that's why the nuclear thing is so important to them. They're on the same planet as us, and if we blow up the planet, it goes away for them.
So they're here, we just don't know where they are?
And that's where the interdimension thing comes in. That's what I'm gathering out of what I've heard.
How high were you when you came up with this theory?
It's not, I don't think I'm saying it's my theory. This is what they're sort of saying. And Grush is sort of that's an interesting thing you're saying. He's not confirming it with
penitentiary. So anyway, we got on with this interview. And within 10 minutes, Mr. Kelly let me know why he could hate people like me. Black people are inferior. We are prone to crime. We're criminals. That is why there are more blacks in prison than whites. Now, that's a half-truth. There are indeed more blacks in prison than white people. It's not because we're prone to crime, like you said. It's because of inequity in our judicial system, where whites in the same predicament either don't get the same jail time or don't go to jail or whatever. Anyway, so I'm a criminal. He also said that black people are lazy. We don't want to work. While we prefer to scam the government welfare system, we're looking for handouts and freebies and all that, where white people, they work, etc. And also, this book called The Bell Curve had just recently come out. And
Charles Murray.
Yeah, you know the one.
Yeah, very controversial book.
Exactly. So, he had jumped on that, and he said, well, it's a known fact. They say the world's biggest authority is they. You never see who they is, right? They say that, black people have smaller brains than white people, and that's why their IQ is not as high. So I guess the bigger the brain, the more intelligent you are. So now, I'm sitting there listening to this guy tell me that I'm a criminal. and I'm lazy and on welfare, and my brain is smaller than his. What he was saying was indeed offensive, but here's the difference between me and most other people. I did not take offense to it. And I'll tell you why I did not take offense to it. Why should I be offended by somebody who knows nothing about me? He only met me 10 minutes ago. He sees the color of my skin and has made this assessment. So why should I take offense to somebody who's telling a lie?
When it comes down to like life or death stuff, that's where, you know, you're a very determined person, just in the way that you live your life. It's Cam, very determined person, right? So that's how you get to where you get to. It's the first ingredient in this whole control factor, is having enough determination to do that. And like, you have a why. You have a why as to why you're doing this. My why was, I was scared to death, man, in the sniper world. I was like, man, I hope it doesn't go bad. And I'm like, that can't be the mindset.
Right,
Holy
can't be
mackerel.
the mindset.
But it is the mindset of most cops, because they don't have a why. You know, if a cop's never been in a gunfight or a shooting, their why is artificial, right? And it's scary the first time that you do that. You know, having that why and seeing, like, I was in an HR where I, you know, had to use lethal force on a person that was, I had to put a round this far from another human being's face, right? And that's my why. So when I do training on the team, it's like, you guys don't understand when you're looking through your optic at a reticle and there's somebody's face on the edge of their face is fully in your scope and the reticle's right on the edge, right? And you have to put the round past their head. That's your why, right? So that's your why for all this tactical training that you do. But if you've never been there and done that, you have to learn how to manufacture determination, right? Can you imagine what failure would be in that situation?
Well, tell the story, if you don't mind, the story you told me about the guy who was methed out.
Yeah, so got a SWAT call out of a hostage rescue. There's an unarmed, barricaded subject with a hostage. And you never know. That's all the information you get on the call out, right? So we go there. I get there, and it was weird because on the brief, I walked up to the house, and the SWAT commander briefed me at the head of the garage there, and it was light-colored concrete. It's dark. You know, we didn't have a bunch of lights on because the operation is active in that house right there, but the room was in kind of the back of the house. And I remember he's talking to me, telling me the situation, and I'm looking on the ground, and I'm like, what is all that stuff on the ground, right? And I'm looking at these dark patches on the ground. So I turn my flashlight on, and it's blood. There's blood all over the place on the walkway down from the garage. And I'm like, what is up with that? And he's like, well, this guy stabbed his cousin and then took his own daughter hostage. Used her as a human shield with a knife to her. So that's how SWAT got called and all this stuff.